Well, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. This is Spotlight. I'm Pastor Dan. Thanks for being part of us. And this month we're wrestling with these hard Old Testament stories. I don't know about you, but I've spent a lot of my life wrestling, struggling, trying to answer the questions people ask me, and I ask myself. What do you do with these stories like Lot's wife? You'd look back once, you're a pillar of salt. Is that necessary, God? So one of the answers, I got this from someone named Graham Maxwell, who's passed away now. I don't know if he got it from somebody else. But he gave the idea of what he called emergency measures. That these are not God who he really is. This is not God's core character. But this is what God has to do to reach down to where we are and temporarily use emergency measures. He wants to keep people alive. He wants to wake people up. So he comes into the real world and he condescends into our world to say, all right, let's do what we have to do here. And does some hard things. And ground opens up and swallows people who criticize him. Emergency measure. And some really hard things that have happened along the way. It's not who God really is. But he's taken people from slavery. As one person said, God has chickens, or maybe he's got some turkeys, and he's got some eagles. And these are not eagles. These are people who have been in slavery for 400 years. They're one step up from animals. They have been working day and night, every day, no holidays, 7 days a week for 400 years. They are not going to get big, mature, spiritual, theological ideas. And God says, let me come down to your level. Maybe you'll understand this. Emergency measures with tears streaming down his face. He takes a terrible chance that somehow we will remember the emergency measure and say, that's God. And the Israelites ran away from God. They said, don't let him talk to us. We'll die. You talk to him. And you talk to us. But he's hoping and hoping that we will look past the way he had to do it back then and go to the level 6 picture of who he is and say, this is who I really am. This is how I want to relate. I have called you friends. This is the way I want to relate. I'm knocking on the door so I can come in and eat with you and you with me. That's who he really is. These are emergency measures. We were in Chicago pastoring the hospital church there. And we were friends with a number of the young doctors, and some of them have moved out here. We still hang out with them. So this was like Christmas, I think Christmas night or something, because they had just had Christmas in this house. And this lady was our children's ministry's leader. She was wonderful with children. But we're sitting at the table, long table, Christmas meal. And the kitchen was here and kind of a family den. And all of a sudden, this lady, this doctor's wife, began to yell, Jerica, get away from there. You stop that right now. I said, whoa. This is my children's ministry leader. This is something is wrong here. There's another side to her. What we couldn't see was a little 3-year-old girl was over there by the fireplace, which had a fire going, and she was feeding Christmas wrapping into the fireplace. And the fire was following the paper out into the family room. There was no time to quietly walk over there and, honey, fire is dangerous. We need to be careful. Fire can hurt you. It was too far away. And time was too important for her and the house. And so she yells. And she takes a chance that her little girl will always remember the mother who yells and the mother who screams. But you hope that they will realize that was for that moment. That was out of love. And eventually you get to see the true sides of your mother. Emergency measures. There's a famous story about the planets. Joseph Bates didn't believe in Ellen White, and so he challenged her. Well, one day she went off into vision, and she talked about how many moons were around one of the planets, and she, I think, said 9 or whatever it was. And Joseph Bates was a ship's captain and an astronomer, and he knew that was correct. How many do we know today? I think she saw 7. We then knew it was 9, and now it's 63. Does God know it's 63? He knows the truth. But if he had said 63, Joseph Bates would have hooted. So God takes his perception of truth and brings it down to the level where Joseph Bates was. And Joseph Bates says, this lady, I got this from God. And so God calibrates and accommodates his truth to where we are. And he uses emergency measures so that we will understand. And then he hopes we'll stay with him until it can bring us to a more mature, higher level. This is Spotlight. We'll be with you next time. Thank you for watching Spotlight. We're so excited about this. We hope that you'll subscribe and so you'll get all of them. And please just forward it on to others and tell other people about it. And let's just see what kind of an audience we can get for these messages of Spotlight. God bless you.